this is Trista from Zero Casualties, and welcome to my Halloween cake episode for this Halloween. This recipe comes from the Delineator cookbook from 1928, and it's a combination of recipes I'm going to be making. And there's going to be a little prize inside the cake. I was supposed to boil these emblems, as they're called. I used my old Monopoly metal pieces and then just a couple coins. And I'm going to describe a little bit more of this cake in a moment. But first, it's going to involve 3 steps. We're going to make a devil's food cake. The original just says to make a plain cake, but I thought, well, let's make something a little more delicious. And then a boiled icing. And then we're going to use these cookie cutters to make some sugar cookies, another recipe from this book, to make the cats to decorate the cakes. So it will be a very fun project. So let me get started on showing you the ingredients we have for the cake first. We're going to be making the cake and then the sugar cookies and then the icing and then kind of put it all together. So let's take a look at ingredients and talk about this cake a little bit more. So I've got my handy rotary beater here. And I'm gonna describe this cake a little bit while I point out the ingredients. We have some brown sugar, 1.5 cups. And as usual, all of my recipes are written up for you in the description. Then we have 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 eggs, 2¼ cups all-purpose flour. This recipe calls for shortening, so I am going to use shortening this time. And the cookies, I'm going to be trying butter. This is 2/3 cup shortening. Then we have a teaspoon of vanilla, and then a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. And then also off to the side here, I have the custard ingredients because you make a custard, a chocolate custard that you fold into the cake. So we have an egg yolk that I'm going to beat up here. We have a cup of brown sugar, so a lot of brown sugar in this recipe. We have 1/2 cup of milk, and then we have some chocolate. So this is baker's chocolate, about 1.5 ounces. It says 3 squares in the recipe, doesn't specify how much, but this is just a plain unsweetened baker's chocolate, or you can use dark chocolate or any type of bar chocolate that you want to cut up here. Oh, and I forgot for the cake, we also have a cup of buttermilk. I forgot to mention. So I want to take a look real quick at this Halloween cake because I want to show you what it's supposed to be. So you're supposed to it says cover individual cake tins with a plain cake batter. So I'm assuming that you want to bake that. But anyway, I'm going to use this baking tin with these little loaf pans in it. And I sprayed it with pan spray just so that they don't stick. So this recipe says to have a prepared emblem inside of the cake. So you're supposed to boil some metal items. So this is what I boiled and put on this clean cloth. The Monopoly pieces and coins. And then you're supposed to wrap these up in, I'm going to use parchment paper, but also wax paper you could use. You're going to put that in the bottom of the cake tin and then put the batter on top. So And it says to bake them at 375. We'll bake the cake according to the instructions here. But then you're supposed to put boiled icing on top, boiled frosting, which is kind of a whipped up egg white and sugar frosting. And it's supposed to look like cobwebs in the sky. So that will be quite interesting. And then you're supposed to have a tiny orange colored candle, which I have here on top to decorate it. And then it just says, press a black cat cutout against one side. I have this cookie cutter. I'm going to be making the cookies to go along with this for the decoration. Although, I assume maybe their decoration was paper. I am not sure, but anyway, let's get started on this devil's food cake in just a moment. We're going to be heating this milk, sugar, the brown sugar, and the baking chocolate. So we're going to be heating that up here on the stove to make the custard part of the cake. So I'm going to be speeding this up a little bit, just because this recipe involves a lot of parts, but I want you to see that I'm kind of mixing it up with a whisk first. So this is the 1/2 cup of milk, the 1½ ounces of chopped chocolate, and then the 1 cup of brown sugar. So I'm going to be heating this up. When it's getting a little bit warmer, I'm going to be adding in this egg yolk and then mixing it until it gets thick. So this is what I will be doing. Okay, so let's get started on mixing up the cake. We have our shortening here and our brown sugar. So I'm going to do my best to cream these together for the first step of the cake batter here. Once that yummy chocolate custard cools down, we'll be folding this into the rest of the cake batter. As you can see, this is a little more challenging than an electric mixer, but it is fun to see how this comes together. Do you like using a rotary beater? I would love to know. So, ooh. All right. I'm going to stop chatting for a moment so I can speed this up as I cream this together for just a moment. Okay, I think that is pretty good for now. So it asks us to take the buttermilk, and we are going to add, just a moment, I will be right back. I forgot the baking soda. We're back with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I forgot to mention at the beginning. So we're gonna actually add that to our buttermilk. And then we're going to add it to this sugar and shortening mixture. And let's get that mixed up just a little bit. Then we're supposed to add our eggs. It says beaten eggs, so I'm just going to take this beater and beat them up a little bit before we add them to the rest of this mixture. And let's see if we can do a good job of mixing this up. Like I say, it's a little bit challenging because you're trying to mix it up the best you can, and it doesn't go quite as fast as electric mixing. But anyway, we are doing the best we can here. All right, let me take a moment to, so I have 2 eggs here. Just off to the side, I'm gonna beat these up a little bit. Then we're gonna be adding them into this mixture. And then we're gonna add the baking powder. It says to add it to the flour, so my teaspoon of baking powder goes in here. And then about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt goes in here. I'm just gonna take a little spoon and mix that together just a tiny bit. Before we add the flour mixture, I'm going to try to mix this up a little bit more. Oh, and I also forgot the vanilla. All right. So it looks like a funny mixture right now, but it will come together. So let's add in the flour and then the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we're gonna mix this up well, and then we'll be adding in the custard when it's cooled down. Ah, this is looking a lot nicer. It was looking so lumpy with that other mixture that I started to get a little worried, to be honest, but this is looking lovely. It almost looks like a caramel cake or something, but this is looking good. All right, sometimes I kind of mix it this way a little bit too with the rotary beater without kind of using the beater part, just so I don't over mix it too much. And we'll do this. Okay, this is coming together. My arms are getting a good workout here. And then, okay, so I'd say this is looking pretty darn good. I might beat it up just a tiny bit more off camera, but in a moment or two, I'm gonna come back with the cold custard and we will mix that in, and then we're gonna start getting ready to get our cakes together. Okay, let's get ready to mix in this yummy custard. I ended up having to put this in the freezer for a few minutes to cool it down, because it does take quite a long time to cool down just to at room temperature. So let's pour this in to the rest of our batter here. It's gonna make it nice and chocolatey. That looks beautiful. So I love this recipe, how it almost reminds me of those ones where you put a packet of pudding mix in, but here you're kind of making the custard or the pudding and putting it in yourself. So I like that a lot. Okay. Oops. All right, let's get that folded in to this beautiful batter, and then we're gonna portion it out into our bar cake pans. Might end up with a little batter left, I'm not sure, but anyways, and I've already wrapped up the little quote-unquote emblems or prizes into parchment paper, little parcels, into the little cake tins. So I think this is, yeah, Let's get that folded in really well. That's looking really good. So I think this is mixed up enough. We don't want to over mix it, but let's see how well that does. Okay, in just a moment, I'm gonna get our cake tins and we'll portion that out. Let's get that portioned into our cake tins. As you can see, I have our little prizes wrapped up in parchment paper on the bottom of each of these. So we'll see who gets what. It'd be quite interesting to see how it bakes in there. Definitely want to warn each person about their prize. So I'm gonna use this scoop. Yeah, that, oh my goodness, that prize is there. See if we can cover up the prize a little bit. Okay. It's funny how it's in there. Okay. See if I can cover this one up a little better. All right. So it looks like one scoop plus a tiny bit more. The object is to cover up the prize. Okay, so I'm going to scoop the rest of these and I will see you in just a moment when it's ready to put in the oven. So I am back with our Halloween cakes from 1928, the Devil's Food cake ones, ready to go into the oven. So one word about the little prizes. I had to kind of poke them down in and put more batter on top just to make sure that they were ready to go. Oh, I see one that's a little bit lower. I'm gonna pop a little scoop, a little tiny bit more batter on top of that. That's looking good. Okay, so I'm gonna be putting these in 375 degrees for 20 minutes, and then we're gonna let them cool and get them ready for the cookies and the frosting. I will see you then. Yay, I just got the cakes out. They are really beautiful. So as you can see, they're cute little loaf cakes we're gonna use as the base for our Halloween cakes. They have the little surprises baked in. I'm really curious about those. And they smell really good. So I'm gonna have them on a wire rack back here, and I'm going to let them cool a little bit before I take them out of the pans. And I'm getting ready to make our sugar cookies. So I will see you for that step. Back, and we are getting ready to make our sugar cookies. We're gonna be putting black cats on the cakes, but I also have a few other options. I've got a witch head, I have a moon, and a bat. So these are all ones I got from a thrift store, and then I washed them at home, so they are ready to go. So let's get into the ingredients for our sugar cookies, and then we will roll them out, get them chilled a little bit, bake them, and then after they're cool, we can decorate them, and then do the final step of icing and putting a little candle on and getting our 1928 Halloween cake looking really cute. Let's get going on our sugar cookies. I have a large bowl with my rotary beater here. And then it says 2/3 cup shortening. I'm gonna use butter in these sugar cookies because I think it'll taste really good. We are gonna chill them before baking because they might not hold up as well as with shortening. So we're gonna use this. So that's 2/3 cup of softened butter. Then we have a cup of granulated sugar. And then we have 2 beaten eggs. And then we have 3 cups flour that I'm gonna sift with some other dry ingredients. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We have a 1/3 cup milk, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So this should make some really good cookies. We're supposed to cream the shortening or the butter and the sugar together. So I'm gonna kind of squish that down with the rotary beater a bit. Get that going. Let's mix that up best we can. So I've made cake doughs or cake batters with this, but I don't remember making cookie dough with this. This will be quite interesting because it might take a lot of arm power here. So let's get that cream together as best we can. I'm also waiting for the cakes to cool so I can kind of turn them out on the rack. So you may hear a timer for that. This is a multi-step recipe, but it's going to be really, really fun. And I'm sort of gilding the lily because I could have just put a paper black cat on there, but I thought, you know what, it should be edible and cute. So I did have to buy black icing. So that's the only kind of non-homemade component here, but I think it will be really good. All right, this is looking pretty soft. Okay. So we want to add in the eggs, 2 beaten eggs. Let's mix that up a little bit. It's looking good. This is looking a little more like a dough now. It's starting to, that's the only trouble with the rotary beater. It can make things go flying a little bit, but I'm trying to be 1928 right now. Okay. That's looking pretty darn good. Okay, so I'm gonna take my flour, put my baking powder in there. Stuck to the bottom of the bowl a little bit. And then I'll put my salt in there. I've got a whisk in here, so I'm just gonna whisk that a little bit. So it says to put a little flour in and then alternate with the milk. So I'm just gonna kind of stir it with the beater right now because I don't think I need to be heavy duty with this. Let's add a little bit of milk in. Mix that up. Let's add a little more flour, kind of in thirds more or less. Mix that around. Here we go. Okay, that's either my cake timer. Yes. So I'm gonna stop here for just a second and then we'll continue with the cookie dough. Okay, I wanted to show you the finished cookie dough. So towards the end, I added the rest of the flour mixture and the milk. And then I just used a spatula to kind of get the rest together. And then I kind of folded it a little bit with my hands. So now it's a beautiful dough. And we're going to cut out our Halloween shapes with that. And then I will show you how we prep the cookies. But just a moment, we're gonna have a little update on the cakes in just a moment. So I got the cakes out of the pan However, they came out, some of them came out a little easier than others. So there will be a little repair done with icing, as you can see on these two. I think due to the quote-unquote prizes inside, and just the fact maybe it's just a really sticky batter, because I did spray them well, but maybe next time I'd use parchment paper in each mold, and I think maybe these are supposed to be more in individual cake pans rather than these kind of bar cake pans. But everything is a fun experiment, and I did taste the cake and it's really delicious. It's kind of like a very light chocolate brown sugar cake, so yummy indeed. So just wanted to be real about how these came out, but we're gonna make them look super cute with frosting and everything else. So here we have our sugar cookie dough ready to roll out. I have to note that I forgot to add the vanilla in. So don't do that, but anyway, I just kind of mixed it in with my hands to the dough and it'll be totally fine. With so many steps to this recipe, I'm forgetting a little bit, but that's okay. So let's get this rolled out. And we want to get a nice even roll here. Sometimes you want to move it around a little bit, but let's get this rolling, as they say. So I don't like to have my sugar cookies super thin. I like to have them kind of on the thicker side. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna keep it to about 1/4 inch or so. Let's roll that out a little bit more. Okay. Maybe that's too thick. Okay. Maybe just a tiny bit more here. Okay. So that looks beautiful. And we want to make sure and get a cat for sure. Maybe a cat over here. And that lifts up quite beautifully. This is a really nice dough, I have to say. So, uh-oh, that leg did not cut out properly. Let's try to get that a little better. There we go. There's a cute little cat. I'm gonna place that on our baking pan. What I'm gonna do is, after I get one pan of cookies cut out, I am going to pop those in the fridge for 15 minutes. I like to always chill my cookie dough before baking it to make sure that the shapes stay nice. So here's our nice bat. And let's do a witch head. Get that out of there. I really like this sugar cookie dough. I hadn't worked with this kind before, but it's quite nice. And then let's do a moon. Hopefully that will lift off okay. Yeah, that'll be just fine. Okay, so you see I have these shapes here. I'm gonna fill out the rest of these off camera and then get that in the fridge before baking. I'll see you in a moment so we can get these in the oven. Hello and welcome back. Our sugar cookies, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this recipe because look how puffy and beautiful they came out. I baked these for about 9 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are absolutely fabulous. I forgot to sprinkle the sugar on these, but that's okay because we're gonna put some icing on some of them for the cake decorations. But they just look so pretty. I'm so impressed. I'm definitely going to keep this recipe for my Christmas cookies too, because look how pretty they are. So I did sprinkle sugar on the second batch, so we'll see how those turn out. I'm just about ready to get ready for my boiled icing. So I'll see you for the last step before we put this Halloween cake together. We've reached some of the last steps, or the last big step before our cute decorating of this 1928 Halloween cake. We're gonna make a boiled frosting, and this is one I grew up with, or we used to call it, I think, White Mountain frosting. So anyway, I have 1 cup of sugar, just granulated sugar, and ½ cup of water in this pan. And then over there, I have 2 egg whites along with my beater. I'm going to heat this up to 244 degrees Fahrenheit, the sugar water there. And then after that, I'm gonna let that cool. And then I'm gonna beat up the egg whites and then pour the syrup in. It's kind of like an Italian meringue, I think. Extremely similar, or if not just an Italian meringue. So anyway, I will get you up a little bit closer. I'm going to be using my non-vintage tool to measure the temperature of the sugar water to make sure I get it right, and I will see you there. All right, so we're going to make our boiled icing. And we have the 1 cup of sugar and ½ cup of water here. I'm supposed to stir this until the mixture, until the sugar dissolves, and then I'm not going to stir it, but I will measure the temperature using my handy little laser tool here. I have a regular thermometer as well, but I cannot resist using this handy dandy tool in this vintage recipe just because it works so well, especially with things where you don't want to keep dipping the thermometer in. It just makes it a lot easier. So I'm heating this up to 244 degrees Fahrenheit as a sugar syrup, and then I'm going to be beating up my egg whites. I will use my rotary beater for that to get as best of stiff peaks with that as I can. So I'm going to stop stirring that now, just to err on the side of caution. And I think since this will take a little while to get up to temperature, I will speed this part up for sure. In fact, I think I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, get this up to temp, and then we'll go back to beating up the egg whites and making this icing. See you then. The sugar syrup cooks. I have gotten started on the egg whites since it takes a long time by hand, well, basically with this rotary beater, to get them to the consistency that I need. So I thought I would start early, and oh, look at that, I think we're about there. So it's okay to get this done a little bit early since it takes a lot of effort. So I just want to show you that, and then when the sugar syrup is ready, we will get the icing put together. Start beating these just a tiny bit more, and then I'm going to bring over the sugar syrup because it just reached 244. So I'm going to add in a little bit of syrup, and then mix that in. This is quite the operation. So you'll pardon me. Let's see. I need to try to mix this in. There we go. hard to do this all at once, to be honest. But let's see if we can get this incorporated. Okay, I will be right back. So I got most of the syrup in there. And unlike using a stand mixer, it's really hard to do the pouring of the syrup and this at the same time, pretty much. Unless you have someone help you. So I'm doing the best that I can. We're gonna try to thicken it up to a frosting. I think we're getting there. We'll do the best of our ability here. Okay. I'm hoping this will work okay. So I'm supposed to beat this until it's kind of a thick, spreadable. Ooh, it's looking really, yeah, it is working. It is working. It just takes time. And it's a little bit sticky on the bottom. So, yeah, I'm definitely used to this in the stand mixer, so this is causing a bit of a challenge, but nothing we cannot overcome. Because these are the tools that they had at the time. I don't know if there were any type of stand mixers back then. I don't think so. But anyway, let us soldier on. Okay, just in the interest of time, I'm going to do a bit of this off camera so that I can concentrate a little better. I will be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Halloween cake from 1928. This is the final result. I think it's super cute. It has the candle, it has the boiled icing. I ended up putting a little bit of powdered sugar in the icing to thicken it up, and I also put it in the fridge for a little bit, and I don't think it looks like cobwebs. I'm not sure how it could, but it looks cute anyways. And then I took the black icing and just kind of did star tips on the black cat. So this is what it looks like, and we're gonna do a little tasting in a moment. Hey, the whole family's here for the tasting. We're gonna check out these Halloween cakes from 1928.
What are we trying exactly?
It is a devil's food cake.
We don't eat the candle, right?
No.
Okay.
With boiled icing.
Okay.
And a homemade sugar cookie.
And there's something inside it?
Yeah, be careful of the emblem or the prize. It's wrapped up in parchment paper, so.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I was worried I was going to choke
We
on
might want to kind of, yeah, break it open.
Nice.
Oh, I see your paper.
It's so weird.
Oh,
Let me
found mine
taste
already.
all of it together first. Mmm. Oh, tastes good with the icing. Mmm.
let's see what I got.
Oh yeah, I want to see what your prize is. Or your emblem.
You're acting like you're surprised, like you didn't put it in there.
I did put it in, but I don't know who got what.
Oh my god, a thimble!
Yes! All right.
I've always wanted one of these.
Now you can do all your sewing.
Yeah. What are thimbles even for?
They're for protecting your hands when you're hand sewing.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm gonna check out my emblem. You
I've
want
only
to check
ever
out
seen
yours
them
first?
used as like water cups by little bugs in movies.
Yes.
I got a delicious
Top
tiny hat.
Let's see what I got.
Where's the enthusiasm? You're on camera.
Yeah. The cake is good though. It's kind of like
Thank you. Ooh, I got the car.
Mm.
Pretty sweet.
Oh wow, you got a new car.
Nice. I love it.
I'm gonna try the cookie
Mm.
now.
The cake kind of reminds me of like banana bread, but without the banana. It's almost like a
yeah.
spice
kinda
or a
like
coffee
that.
cake, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Mmm.
And it has
Is this frosting on the cookie have flavor, or am I just hallucinating?
Maybe vanilla. The cookie's really good with
and
the
the
frosting.
cake has ripples in it.
Yeah, it's because it's like a brown sugar cake with a chocolate custard
Oh,
mixed in.
that's what I'm tasting. It's good.
Yeah, so
actually.
it's kind of like a little bit of both, but I'm liking this combo actually. What are your thoughts, Adam?
Honestly, I think I like the cookie more than the cake.
And your mouth is all black from the frosting.
Oh,
I'm
is it?
sure mine is too.
You get zombie mouth. Oh wow.
It's a winner. But yeah, the cookie is a huge standout for me for sure.
That is nice actually. The cookie.
Did you record that? The cookie recipe?
Yes,
Good.
definitely.
The world deserves to know.
Thank you.
Overall, this is a really good fall dessert.
Thanks,
This is great.
guys.
Actually, the cake is really good too. I don't think I got a very good bite because like the first part I got was like kind of half parchment. So
Oh yeah.
But yeah, with like I'm gonna make a cup of tea and finish this because this is
yeah.
so nice with a hot cup of tea.
Oh yeah, it'd be great with a hot beverage.
Delicious.
Adam approved. Both the
Thanks,
cookie and the
guys.
cake.
Very different, but delicious.
Well, have fun making this at home, and thank you, everybody. See you next time.